original police investigators were still alive. They were willing to talk to me and even tell me things that had not been made public.
The Arkansas woman that published a series of newspaper articles in the 1980s that exposed apparent corruption in a missing persons investigation sits down for her first ever television interview. The author is Camden native Beth Brickell.
After living in Los Angeles, she returned to her hometown to write a screenplay about the disappearance of Maud Crawford, one of the town's most prestigious lawyers. She says the case had hardly been investigated, so she did it herself, not knowing where it would take her.
Fox 16's Mitch McCoy here tonight as the author says motive points to land deeds and a former state police commissioner.
In Camden, Arkansas, where there's about 12,000 people,
The town would be afraid to talk about her.
there's a big white home on Clifton Street where the walls likely keep many secrets.
She would say, Camden just wants to brush Maud Crawford under the rug like she never existed.
This is Beth Brickell. She met Maud Crawford in the early 1950s, which was a big deal. Maud is the town's first female lawyer, first woman to be elected to city council, and one of the founders of Arkansas Girls State.
She had a tea for those of us who were juniors in high school who were being considered for Girls State. And we went to her home, and she was very lovely and met each of us, and that's the only time I ever met her.
What Beth didn't know at the time, Maud would vanish 5 years later, and she would investigate the disappearance of one of Camden's most prestigious people.
Maud's house.
Beth returned to Maud's house again with us.
Maud's last day was March the 2nd, 1957.
It was rumored that Maud, a law partner to U.S. Senator John McClellan, was kidnapped by the mafia because of a Senate investigation. Beth's mission for answers started in 1986 after getting into show business, moving to Los Angeles, and returning to Arkansas after getting an assignment to write a screenplay about Maud's mystery.
I learned within the first week the case had never been properly investigated.
It made Beth curious, planning to stay only a few weeks, but realized a much bigger task was at hand. Later publishing more than a dozen articles during her investigation in the then Arkansas Gazette.
A lot of people were still alive. It seemed like everyone knew a little something about the circumstances of Maud Crawford disappearing.
Beth started asking questions, and what she found
was the motive for murder, which had not been found out in the original police investigation.
When you look back on the investigation you conducted, what's the biggest thing that points to motive?
Mike Berg.
Beth says Mike Berg was the richest man in town and also a state police commissioner.
He was used to getting everyone to do what he wanted to do, either by bribing him with gifts or by intimidation. And neither tactic would work on Maud Crawford.
Beth traveled the country and tracked down interviews. Mike's aunt Rose Berg had a multi-million-dollar estate and likely suffered from Alzheimer's.
In that estate was a large timber tract in Hempstead County near Hope. And Mike wanted to cut that timber and keep the profits.
Beth says Mike worked with two of his employees to pull off the next step, which she says included getting signatures from Mike's aunt and eventually taking the land. Beth says Mike promised a portion of the profits to one of the employees, but Beth says Mike fell short of the promise.
He went to Maud, who he knew very well as a lawyer, and wanted her to help him get the balance of what he felt Mike still owed him. That's how she found out about it. When she learned about this scheme,
Beth's investigation led her to Arkansas State Police, interviewing one of the original detectives who she says revealed this after Maud uncovered what was happening.
She could have put him in prison and probably invalidated those earlier deeds. That's what got her killed. She went to the office and confronted Mike. When she left Mike's office, Mike was heard saying, "I wish that guy was dead." She disappeared 6 weeks later.
And the state police detective told you that?
Yes.
Beth says the ASP detective thought that was enough, case closed, but hardly. Here's what Beth recalls in her now published book through the detective's words.
I carried all my stuff and went up to Little Rock and told Alan Templeton, who was head of the state police criminal investigative division, about it. He said, "Leave your stuff here," and I did. Then he told me there was too much money involved and took me off the case. The next time I was up there and checked the file, my memos about the last information I carried up about Mike Berg had disappeared.
Ever since, there have been rumors circulating on where Maud's remains are. Beth took us to Berg Lake, where she says it's possible that Maud's remains are. She says an employee who worked for Mike filled concrete in a well on Mike Berg's lake the night Maud disappeared.
If you put Maud Crawford's body in that dry well, put concrete on it, then made the water come over the well, and certainly in 1957, no one would come on Mike Berg's. Remember, he was a state police commissioner.
Mike Berg died in 1975.
Oh, look, they even got the reward poster up.
Back at Maud's house, which has been sold a few times, there are new owners who are keeping Maud's legacy alive on the walls.
I'm so happy that they have treasured Maud and kind of made a museum of her home.
The same walls that hold so many secrets.
A spokesperson for Arkansas State Police says the crime scene was documented and it was handled as a missing persons investigation. As you saw, we did go inside Maud's house. If you would like to see that exclusive tour, just go to our website, fox16.com. Meanwhile, Raquel has published 3 different books, including that screenplay. We also have a link to her website where you can purchase the books on fox16.com.